Happy Thursday, happy Thursday, happy Thursday to you and to you and to you. It is another happy Thursday, and thank you for joining us right here on another episode of Theology on Thursday. Okay, here it comes. Do me a favor. Share the gospel. I ask for it every single episode. Share the gospel. Share the good news of this podcast with everybody you know, your family, your friends, your folk on social media, your friends, your network. How about your coworkers? How about your neighbors? How about your church members? Share it with everybody you know so that they can be like you and not just enjoy a happy Thursday, but more importantly, enjoy a happy life. I'm Dr. Micah C, and I'm excited to have you on this another episode of Theology on Thursday. Now, if you are a frequent listener or follower of Theology on Thursday, you are probably already seeing some things that aren't normal. Yep, kind of a different set. Dr. Sims isn't in his normal attire. Yeah, this is a kind of special edition of Theology on Thursday. But for those of you who may be checking it out for the first time, let me tell you, this is a podcast where this podcast really is a space where we bring theology off the bookshelves and into our daily lives. Every Thursday, we wrestle with the questions of life and faith and hope through real, open, candid conversations. As you know, theology is the study of God, but more importantly, and on a deeper note, it's really about our practices, our faith, and our experiences. And so it is my hope and intention every single week that we can see how to apply what we have learned, what has been shared with us, what we read, what we experience, and how we can galvanize that and put it into our own daily lives. My favorite theologian, James Cone, has already said, you have to make theology contextual. That theology arises out of our lived experiences. Your theology, my theology is happening out of our lived experience, what you are going through right now. And so we want to pour into that journey. We want to pour into that experience through this wonderful podcast called Theology on Thursday, where we just jump in and make it happen. Now, you've already heard me say this is a special edition of Theology on Thursday. First of all, let me stop, pause, and say to all of you who have listened, watched, viewed, and shared this podcast for the last 7 weeks, thank you. You have made what I believe God asked me to do into something wonderful. You have shared it. You have listened to it. You have viewed it. And I just want to thank you for what you've done over the last 7 weeks. And listen, it's only because of you that we were able to gain the thousands and thousands of views and downloads that we've been able to receive for this podcast on our various platforms. Now, listen, the various platforms right now, you can find Theology on Thursday on Apple Podcasts. Yes. You can find Theology on Thursday on Spotify. Yes. You can find Theology on Thursday on YouTube. Yeah. And you can also find Theology on Thursday on our website, which is theologyonthursday.com. That's also the place where if you don't have the opportunity to put how you feel or questions in the chat, you can always go to theologyonthursday.com, send us an email like some of you have, and we're going to talk about some of your emails today, like some of you have, or you can actually email us at theologyonthursday@gmail.com. It's going to be right there on the screen. You can email us, contact us, theology on Thursday gmail.com. And so I want to thank all of you for what you've done to really help this podcast grow and to develop. And I really pray, and just from some of the responses that I've gotten, emails we've gotten, I think it's been a blessing to so many people. And that's the intent. I want you to be able to live out your theology, develop your theology. More importantly, develop your relationship with God and become the best you that you can be. So thank you for doing that. Thank you. Keep on doing it. Now, listen, I didn't ask much of this in the first 7 episodes, but now I really need you, now that we've got some momentum, we're going, it's growing, we're doing what we need to do. Subscribe. That's right. Follow and subscribe on the platforms that you are viewing Theology on Thursday. There's a button there. There's somewhere you can subscribe, somewhere you can follow. Do that for me so that we can increase our viewership for this podcast. And again, I want to thank all of you for doing exactly that. Now, as I shared with you already, this is a special Theology on Thursday podcast. We have made it halfway through season number 1. Come on, give it up. Yes, we have made it halfway through season 1. Season 1 is 14 weeks. We've already done 7, and we've had an incredible 7 weeks of special guests on our podcast, incredible podcasts that I think have offered information, insight, some humor, some intrigue, some teaching, things that I know have really blessed and helped people. So we've made it through the first half. I wanted to pause here this week, just say thank you, and kind of, get ready for the second half. So our seasons here at Theology on Thursday are 14 weeks. First half is 7, second half is 7. That means we've got 7 exciting more weeks of Theology on Thursday, season 1. Now, I'm not going to tell you who's coming, but you'll probably get a lot of clues out of today's show about what the next 7 weeks and those guests might look like. So here's what I'm going to do. Really special. If you can guess the focus of the next 7 weeks and our guests, and you email me and you get the right answer, we will send you a special gift card thanking you as the winner for guessing the second half of guests on Theology on Thursday. I promise it's going to be a great gift. You'll love it. But you'll get some clues. I'm not going to tell you directly who they are, but you'll get some clues throughout this episode as we recap the first half of season number 1 of Theology on Thursday. So that's what we're going to do today. That's why I'm not in my normal attire. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get to some emails. We're going to talk about some things that I really appreciated about the first half of season 1. We're going to talk about a bunch of things. So I need you to stay tuned. I'm Dr. Micah Sims. It's Theology on Thursday. You don't want to miss that. Miss this. This is the recap of the first half of the season. We'll be right back, and we're going to have a great time here on Theology on Thursday.
If you've ever been around Northern Seminary, you know that we have a couple different taglines. One of them being, we lead the church and engage the world. A lot of times our faculty will say that we are a place where you will find culturally engaged orthodoxy. I like to say that we have theology here that is unafraid and still ironic. Our faculty members are writing on Substack, they're recording podcasts. We have Seminary Now where you can watch asynchronous pre-recorded classes. You can come and audit a class on campus. You can zoom in from anywhere in the world and get a graduate certificate, a master's degree, a doctoral degree. So wherever you are, whatever your call into the church is, whatever your economics, there is a place here at Northern for you. We have education that can train you as you lead your church and engage the world.
Yes. It is Thursday, and it's Theology on Thursday, and we've got a wonderful episode. This is the midway point of season number 1. So we're going to get into a lot of things today and set up the second half of season 1 of Theology on Thursday. And again, thank you. Thank you for your commitment of watching and promoting and sharing this podcast that is, I pray has been a blessing, and by some of the emails. And we'll talk about emails we've gotten. Over 100 plus emails. And a lot of them have been just thanks for doing this. Thanks for this guest. Thanks for that guest. So I think if I had really a favorite thing of first half of season 1, it's been the way that in every episode, there's been something to help those of us who are believers, because I see it in the emails, to help encourage you to step forward in your gifting, your calling, to step forward in your ministry, to be more active, to help develop greater spiritual disciplines. I think that has been the best thing about the first half of season number 1, because overwhelmingly we've gotten so many emails about how people have just been able to take some of the advice, some of the important things that were shared from many of our guests in season number 1 and really been able to apply it to their lives. And I'm just thankful that, it was a great first half of the season, from Martin Odom to Bishop Reed to Dr. Wayne Weathers to Professor Nick Peterson to Dr. Reginald Blunt to Elder Robin Ware, and of course to the Reverend Tamika Dion Reed Sims. It has been, I don't think I left anybody out. Those were the 7, Pastor Martin Odom, Bishop Reed, Wayne Weathers, Dr. Blunt, Nick Peterson, Robin, Elder Ware, and my wife. Thank you. What an incredible first half. And all of them were just able to pour in incredible ways. And I really, every time I go back to it, and listen, just pearls of wisdom. Now, I think one of the funniest things that have really emerged out of those first episodes has been this, kind of Mount Rushmore thing. And a number of you have emailed us, and again, have said in chats, we've gone back and pulled it out, our team has, just about the Mount Rushmores, and we've got incredible Mount Rushmores from all of the various shows, and probably there'll be one show that we'll talk about all of the Mount Rushmores at some point. But that's just something that has really emerged out of that first half that I think has really been a blessing to many of you, as these individuals have talked about those 4 iconic individuals or books or things that have been a staple and that are a staple, that are foundational in their own personal lives. And so I'm not going to do any Mount Rushmore this week. But I think if I really thought about what has really emanated out of the first half of season 1, it has been that. And so I'm thankful that we've had this opportunity in this episode really just to stop, take a deep breath, and just inhale and take in all of the wonderful episodes. If you haven't watched them all, I encourage you, go back and watch all 7 episodes. They are going to be a blessing for you. I was thinking about when I was coming into this episode, I didn't know really what to call it. And I had to think back to a couple of my producers in the media space. I've did TV for a little while, did syndicated radio as well. And I could literally hear Mark, my TV producer, one of my TV producers. I could hear, I literally could hear Rashida. I could hear Elijah. Elisha literally saying, okay, this is about to be a uh-oh Micah episode. In other words, we might not necessarily we're probably not going to have guests, and we don't know what's going to come out of Micah's mouth. On TV, it was a little bit more controllable. When we didn't have guests, we would just do really funny episodes. Most of our shows on TV, we had guests top of the show and maybe at the bottom of the show, but maybe in the middle, there might have been an open episode. And so, Mark would encourage me to create something. And so we'd go off. And certainly on radio, there were times when a guest could not appear or something came up. And so we would end up just having one of those Micah episodes. And I would talk to co-host or talk to Greg on the other side of the glass, or I would just talk. And so, yes, this is one of those episodes. And shout out to all of those that have really helped me in media, from the radio to TV, NBC. Thank you, Kathy. To our own individual show on MCN in Philadelphia, live from the Lowe's. How about that one, Mark, and all that great team? Lawrence Holiday, that's my man. I think he may have coined the Micah episode. But anyway, I want to thank all of them. They're incredible people, so talented, and they really made me look good. They really did. I'm going to be honest. They really did. Half of the things that happened in the way our shows on radio and on TV were not because of me, but really were because of talented people behind the scenes. So shout out to all of them. Just incredible people. So this is one of those Micah episodes when you don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. But a lot of what's going to come out of my mouth today is really reflective of the interaction we've received from our viewers and our listeners of Theology on Thursday. And I have really enjoyed the opportunity to do this. I've been blessed by it. Not just because of the guests, but I've been blessed just to be able to feel honored to be able to come to your phone or however you're watching our podcast. Thank you for doing that. So I want to kind of get into some things that we pulled out of our emails and share with you on this episode of the midway point of the first season of Theology on Thursday. And as I said, we're on the halfway point. We're going to have 7 weeks of guests right after this. And again, if you can figure out where the guests are coming from, because they've got a theme for the second half, then I want you to email us at theologyonthursday@gmail.com. If you guess right the theme, the trend, the arc, if you will, for our guests for the second half of the season. If you can figure it out from the clues that are coming out of my mouth today, if you figure it out and you're the first one to email the right answer, we've got a special gift and we'll send it your way. And again, you can always email us at theologyonthursday@gmail.com. You can go to our website, theologyonthursday@theologyonthursday.com. All of our episodes, but other ways that you can interact with us. And let me go ahead and share it. And you can also find out more about what I'm doing, the show, the upcoming books, all of that on my own website, drmicahsims.com. Just go there. Probably you can see when I'm coming to a church or doing a workshop or something near you. You can find out book releases. You can find out where I'm teaching. We're going to get into that later. Shout out to Northern. Upcoming workshops or classes that I might be teaching, programs that I'm promoting. You can do that as well by going on my website, drmicahsims.com. So do that. Again, there is a trend. There's a trend for the upcoming guest. You just got to pay attention. And if you guess right, we got a special gift for you. Shout out. I talked about my wife, but thanks to the kids, all 5. They're not kids. They are not kids. They are young adults. Shout out to our 5 outstanding young people, Micah II, Jeremiah, Riley, Chris, Josh. Thank y'all for being the supportive children that you are to what your dad is doing. Thank you. Love you. I tell you, family is... Let me say this. One of the best things that God can give to you is family. Cherish it, relish it, thank God for it every day. When the world totally goes against you, family will always be there for you. That's been my experiences through the highs and lows of ministry, of my personal life, of my professional careers. Family has always been there. When you win elections, they're there. When you lose elections, they're there. When the show is great, when they decide to cancel the show, when the sermon is good, and when you flunk. Family is right there when nobody's watching the podcast, from when everybody is watching the podcast. Family is right there. I want to thank my children, my wife, all of our family for your love and your support of Theology on Thursday. Now, I kind of said we've gotten some wonderful emails. And again, thank you for your support. Thank you for your positive responses. One of them was, hey, Dr. Micah, what was your favorite moment so far this season? I kind of indicated it. It was really accumulative of the fact that people have been able to pull something out of each of the episodes that has helped them in their own personal journey with the Lord. And so I don't know. I don't necessarily have a favorite moment. I think, again, it's the cumulative thing. I will say, I mean, this is no shade on any of the other guests. I truly enjoy having conversation time with my wife, Tamika, when we get in interview mode together, when we are in Bible study together. It is a great moment. We enjoy it the most. Most time we have to remember to behave, and we do. But I guess if you really had to push me for one of my favorite moments of the season, it would be that. But all of the guests so far in season one have really, they're all personal friends, and as I've said when they were on, it was like you were eavesdropping on one of our phone conversations. And that's kind of how it feels when I'm doing those type of interviews. And that's what you want: real, candid, open, honest conversation. That's what you're getting: real, open, honest, candid conversation. And that's why I brought them on, because I know that what we're sharing and the authenticity by which we're sharing. We don't have to put up facades. We don't have to put up airs. You were literally listening to real conversations that, if there was no podcast, it would be captured on the phone. So I want to thank all of them for that. But if you had to ask me what was my favorite, that was that probably was my favorite. So one of the questions that has come in is, why are you always wearing a black t-shirt? Okay. So I decided, just to kind of do something that would be thematic, that I would do throughout all the episodes of Theology on Thursday. And I have an assortment of black t-shirts with different mottos and things on them. And so I decided, hey, let's do that. One of my favorite ones, I don't think I've worn yet on this show, is yet I have a black t-shirt that says "Rumble, Young Man, Rumble." Probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, black t-shirt. And so normally I come on Theology on Thursday in a black t-shirt with some theme or something written on it. It almost takes me back to my thought of how I was trained in the Board of Examiners for the AME Church. Always wear a black suit, because the focus is not about you, it's really about God. And so that whole thing about, wearing black, and so maybe that's where it came from. I think it's kind of tied to that a little bit, even though I don't wear a black suit every Sunday in the pulpit. But I think it really comes from that. So now, so the person who emailed me to ask me about wearing a black t-shirt also wanted to send a black t-shirt. So, okay, if you have a black t-shirt that you would like me to wear on Theology on Thursday, please hit me up at theologyonthursday@gmail.com. I'll send you the address where you can send your t-shirt in. I'm only wearing black t-shirts on Theology on Thursday. This is the exception because this is a special episode. It's the Uh-Oh Micah episode. But yes, I wear a black t-shirt every week on every episode of Theology on Thursday, and my goal is never to repeat a t-shirt. So if you've got a black t-shirt with a saying on it or a school or something like that, and you want us to wear it, come on, send it my way at theologyonthursday@gmail.com. It's got to be a large. Make sure that it's a large t-shirt, and we'll do that. Come on, send your black t-shirts in, all right? So I talked about earlier the radio, which I enjoyed, and television, which I really enjoyed. And so one of the emails was, "What's the hardest challenge?" And for me, actually, the hardest challenge is not sliding back into a radio mindset. On radio, you've got call-ins and you've got commercials. And my natural inclination from doing those many years of radio, and I was communication major in undergrad. I love media. I love TV. I love radio. I still watch television. I still listen to radio. And so going into this, I was really mindful of not slipping back into the radio mindset, thinking that, okay, when it's feeling like the segment is long, I can slide into a commercial, slide into a caller or something like that. There's no callers. There's no commercial. It's a flat podcast. We're going from the beginning of the conversation to the end of the conversation. But every now and again, I've got to remind myself, Micah, there's no break coming. We've got to run this for the entire time. And that's the wonderful thing about podcasts. This podcast is not built around a time slot. It's not for 29 minutes and 59 seconds or 59 minutes and 59 seconds. We start it, and when the conversation is over, we end it. Now, some conversations with some guests probably deserve some overtime, and maybe we'll look at doing that. Think about my episode with Bishop Reed. We could have gone into overtime. We could have gone into special edition, extended version of that episode. And so maybe, because it's said to me, most podcasts are an hour or less. So anytime we get a guest that is really going to, have some really great things to say, maybe we'll carry that into an extended episode and offer that available to those that follow and subscribe to the show. But it is awfully difficult to remove yourself for me to remove myself from that mindset of doing radio, more radio than television. Let me also say to you the other challenge that resonates in my head often when I do podcasts, public speak, present, workshop, preach, teach, whatever it might be. It's avoiding the whole notion of saying, For some, it can be a distraction. And as somebody who is a trained communicator, I oftentimes have to remind myself to be mindful to not slide into ums and uhs and things of that nature. I will share this tidbit with you. You can mainly avoid the ums and ahs and things of that nature just by slowing the pace of your conversation down, allowing your sentences to end and your next words to begin. It will help you slide out of the ums, ahs, and things. That's a Micah Sims tidbit just for you. I hope I remember that for the rest of this episode and future episodes as well. All right, that was a great question. Let me see. Is there something you want to do that you haven't done yet? Great question. Thank you for sending that in. I had a kind of a bucket list of things that I wanted to do in my life. I'm thankful to God that I've had either done them or come very close to doing them. And it's not worth sharing. I'm not going to necessarily share them all. So I want to thank God publicly for allowing me to achieve those things that I really had a desire to achieve in one way or another. Is there something that I haven't done yet? Whew, it's a great question. I would say, and it's probably based on my own personal reality. And I'm not pushing it. I've never pushed for it. I want it to naturally, in God's own time, come. I want to hold my grandchild. And I thank God for all of my children, and they are incredible. But I think if there's one thing that I have not yet done, it has been to hold a grandchild. So I'm looking forward to that. Thanks for sharing that. That's a great question. And yes, that's kind of saying that I'm, ready for, grandparent status, I guess, sort of, kind of, somewhat. Anyway, so that would be, watch the ums, watch the ums. That would be something that I haven't done yet. Let me think of something else. Something that I haven't done yet that I wanted to do. I'll share this. My grandfather on my stepdad, my stepdad's dad, and my stepdad, we don't believe in steps. But he had a boat, and his boat was in Annapolis. And I was too young then, but I always wanted to drive the boat, but I was just too young to do it at that point. So at some point in time, I would like to drive a boat, maybe own a boat, take it out there on the water. It's been something that has been in the back of my mind. I remember going to Annapolis. We used to go fishing. I used to always want to drive the boat, but I was a little bit too young, a little bit too short, couldn't get up there, and they wouldn't allow me to do it. So maybe that is something that I have not done yet. Wait, there is also one other thing I have not done yet. I have not yet been to the Vatican. I want to go to the Vatican. I do. So now you've gotten 3 things out of me that I haven't done yet. I would love to go to the Vatican. Hey, the Pope is a Villanova grad. So I wonder, is there anybody out there, Nova Nation, anybody out there that can make that happen? But so yes, going to the Vatican is something I would like to do that I have not done yet. Okay, great question. Okay, this question was asked by at least 25 to 30 people. Will you ever go live on Thursdays? At the current moment, I will say no. I really enjoy the pre-recorded aspect of theology on Thursday. Again, radio for me was live. Television was pre-recorded other than the times when I was on NBC 10 as a correspondent, and that was live on the news. I enjoy the pre-recorded aspect because it allows me and our team to really focus on getting guests, doing post-production, and having things in place so that you can get the best show we could possibly give you, okay? Sometimes live, you just don't know what's going to happen. Elisha will tell you, Elisha Morris will tell you anything can happen live. I mean, we would get some crazy call-in folk on the radio. Chris Wilder would tell you that. Ron Shipman will tell you that. Deja Gilmore will tell you that. Rashida will tell you that. We would get some crazy call-ins. And so you would literally have to figure out how to manage that. I don't miss that at all. So for the moment, we are not planning to do any lives. However, what we are looking at doing more in season 2 and moving forward, we're probably going to look at going what's the word I'm looking for? Going remote. That we will probably look at going to some locations and shooting episodes with guests, maybe from their location. Think of a good friend of mine, the Reverend Dr. A. Byron Coleman, who pastors Fifth Street Baptist Church in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. He's probably somebody I will go to Oklahoma City if he lets me, because he's probably mad that I haven't been there yet. We'll go there and record an episode right there. So again, not live, but more remote broadcast episodes, recordings we might look to do in the future. Now, that's not to say if there was some special circumstance and situation, maybe from a production aspect, we couldn't get the show done, or maybe it's a special, something's breaking that we really need to go. We would probably do that. We would probably go live 12 noon on Thursday. And again, we would announce that ahead of time. Speaking of that, please do me a favor. Tuesday, November 4th, I don't care where you are in this country, please go out and vote. That is general election. It's the first Tuesday in November across the country. Jersey, y'all got governor elections. Virginia, you've got governor elections. There's some places that have got some major elections, mayor elections, all that. Do me a favor. Please, as your commitment, I think it's part of our Christian duty to make sure that we vote. So please do me a favor, go out and vote, and encourage other people to go out and vote. If you're not registered, register to vote today. We'll put up the website that you can go register in case you're not registered in your where you live right now. But I want to make sure, one, that everybody who's a viewer and a follower of Theology on Thursday is registered to vote. Two, that you get out and vote. What good does it do you if you get registered and you actually don't go vote? Exercise your right to vote. It's your voice into democracy. And I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of dealing with politics today. This is not today. My point today is to make sure that you get out and vote. I know Theology on Thursday is on Thursday, not on Tuesday. Maybe if we were Theology on Tuesday, I might have to go live on election day, but we're not. But please put that down. Go out. Just go out and vote. Do that for me, okay? Let's see. What can you expect for the second half of season 1? 7 weeks of great guests. With your prayers and your support, 7 more weeks of incredible episodes, wonderful engagement, growing our audience. But I can't do it by myself. I'm going to need you to make that happen. But your point, what do you expect for the second half? 7 more incredible guests. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard to top the first 7 guests. But I really think you're going to love the next 7 weeks and the guest on Theology on Thursday. It's going to broaden your theological perspective about yourself, your family. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. So yes, I'm expecting 7 more weeks of great guests. Okay, let's see. Did that one. We'll save that one for last. Somebody did ask about, a few people, Mount Rushmore. But this one was pretty good, so I have to go back. Mount Rushmore, that's 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 people, of guests in your media career. My Mount Rushmore. Whew. My Mount Rushmore of media guest. Okay. On my Mount Rushmore, for my very first radio show, matter of fact, he was my very first guest, was my little brother, Frank Smart. Frank was willing to come on my very first radio show. It's a New Day with Micah Sims. Frank Smart. Man, I miss him every single day. Young, dynamic, young preacher person. And he forever. He forever. Wow. Will be on my Mount Rushmore of media guests. He was my first one, so he's on there. Man, I gotta think. I have three more. I have three more. Whew. Wow. I gotta really think about that. Frank's definitely there. I've really gotta think about. Um, wow. And I mean, I've done some really good ones. I'm just wow, because you mentioned if you do one, then you're thinking about the other ones. Um, whew, I might have to get back to y'all on that one. That might have to come in the recap show of the first season. Man, I really gotta. That's a tough one. That's really a tough one. Man, we had a great interview with Charles Dutton. That was a great interview. One of my favorite ones, I did an interview with Elmo and Big Bird at the Constitution Center in Philadelphia for NBC 10. That was great. Eric Benet was a really good interview. I did an interview with a friend of mine, Randy Robinson. Randy, shout out to Randy Robinson. Was a great interview. I had Randy on the show, and it's a great interview. Let me think. I mean, there's been some really good interviews. Charles Barkley came on one time on one of the shows I was producing. That was a fun one. There's been a few of them. It's hard. It's really hard. We had my first big get was at that point in time was Vice President Biden. So that I've got a few. Got really a few. I don't know. I have to put Frank. And I don't know if I can. I don't know if I'm ready to put the other three yet. I really have to think about. We've really done some. I thank God I've really been able to interview some really great people. I don't think this person asked this question, but somebody else asked something. Who's your ultimate guest? Who's your ultimate guest? Who's the ultimate guest? And I'll say my ultimate guest for this podcast, Theology on Thursday. I can't do. Sorry, y'all. This is the light just totally went out. On the set. I can't do because I would really love to have James Cone would be is who I would love to. I would love to have my grandfather on Theology on Thursday. That would be yeah. How about they were both from Arkansas. So Cone and my grandfather. But they have both gone on to be with the Lord. So Theology, who Cornell West would be a good interview right now, I think. Henry Louis Gates, I would love to have. Renita Weems. I mean, I don't know if there's an ultimate guest as much as there might be ultimate guest list. Okay. And I apologize, y'all. The light went out. I got up to turn the light back on. Like, duh. Like, why did you do that? You just can keep going with the lights you got. that one I'm gonna take some hits for when people see that. And we won't edit it out. We'll leave it. All right. I promise you we're gonna leave it. So yeah, so ultimate guest, I think it's ultimate guest list. I don't think there is an ultimate guest. However, this is Theology on Thursday. In 2025, I'm going to tell you the one guest I would love to have a theological conversation with. I know it's not going to happen, but I'm going to tell you, it's the journalist in me. This is the real gritty journalist in me. The one get, that's what they call it, the one guest I would love to have on Theology on Thursday is the current president of the United States. Okay. And again, y'all can respond back to this in the chat. You can email us at theologyonthursday@gmail.com for your responses. Yeah, all of that good stuff. Let's see. Okay, so this is this is definitely one of those Micah Micah episodes. I got up to try to turn the light back on. Oh my God. It's such a reaction that I didn't even realize it until I was halfway up trying to get the light to come back on. Oh my God. Okay. I can't take, we might be done. We might be at the end of this episode already. Again, we are at the midway point. Thank you for being part of the first half of season 1 of Theology on Thursday. Thank you for your support. Come on, subscribe, like, follow on all of our platforms. Come on, keep doing what you're doing and share it. Come on, share the gospel. I'm not ending this, though. I'm almost ready to end it as I keep thinking about. Shout out to my cousin Curry. He had his third son. All right, James. Named James. So shout out to Amanda and John Curry Chambers on the birth of their third son. As I told you, family is important. Family is really important to me. All right. Family's gonna be the one that's gonna kind of hit me the most on reaching out, mess with that light. Like, what were you thinking? My mother is really gonna tear into me on that one. All right. So again, we've got 7 more weeks left and incredible episodes coming your way. Plan now every single Thursday. They're going to be dropping on these platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, our own website, theologyonthursday.com. If you can't find any of it, go to my website, drmicahsims.com. You can find the links there as well. Now, this question came up and I wanted to close this episode because it helps a few things. What are you reading? So, currently I'm reading a few things. Shout out to the author in our family, Reverend Tamika. Y'all continue to support her books. Turbulence is incredible. Get that book. But she's got some other ones coming out. That's actually part of a series of Christian fiction, is what she's calling it. Well, I think it's another title, Christian women's fiction. And I don't want to mess it up, but turbulence. What am I reading right now? So, Martin Odom and Bishop Bryant have compelled me and convicted me to go to the 1-year Bible. I would encourage, for those of you who are trying to read the Bible in a year, this is wonderful. Get the 1-year Bible. I have the NIV version, so I read this every single day. It is part of my spiritual disciplines, okay? I am on my second read of The Ground Has Shifted by Walter Fluker, The Future of the Black Church in Post-Racial America. Great read. I'm hoping to get him on at some point on Theology on Thursday. But this is a wonderful book. Get this. I promise it will Bless you. I'm on my, 15th read of Howard Thurman, Jesus and the Disinherited. When I hit brick walls or I feel some sort of spiritual stagnation, this Combs Cross and the Lynching Tree and God of the Oppressed are probably my go-tos. But I'm reading this right now. For work, one of my many jobs, as I'm going to be teaching a course in the spring at Northern Seminary. And let me say this, I am a proud adjunct professor and staff member of Northern Seminary. If it was a whole bunch of mess, I don't do mess and chaos. I am at Northern Seminary. If you want to have a conversation with me, you can email me, put it in the chat. I am still and going to be at Northern Seminary. Now, teaching this class it's called Kingdom Stewardship, Leading for Mission and Ministry. It's coming up in the spring. If it's something that you're interested in, go to seminary.edu, sign up for the course. You might be able to audit it. I'm telling you, it's going to be off the hook. It's going to be a great course. But part of that, me getting ready for that course, I'm dealing with 2 books, trying to merge them together. Managing the Ministry, A Practical Guide to Church Administration by Jody Dean, and my go-to, The Flakes, African American Church Management Handbook, a must. And so I'm back. I've read this numerous times. This is my first read on this. And so I'm reading these 2 because they're part of my syllabus for the course. I'm telling you, and it's not just about how to manage the books or answer the phones and email. We're talking about kingdom stewardship. How do we prepare ourselves in the work of the kingdom of God through church ministry? I promise you it's going to be an incredible course. Again, go to seminary.edu. That's the Northern website. Sign up for the course. But you guys asked me what I was reading, and so I'm currently reading those. And yes, I read them all. Some of them I read fast and highlight and then go back and read. But doing that. And hey, Dr. Elaine Flake, can I get you on Theology on Thursday soon? But I love the Flakes. Okay. And then amongst other people, yes, I love the Brownings, the Ingrams, the Reeds, the Xanders. I love everybody. Okay. I don't want to leave anybody out. I don't. Listen, if we're all honest, we gleaned from everybody. Lee P. Washington. I mean, I'm not going to go down. That's a show all by itself. Okay. But Dr. Elaine, Dr. Floyd Flake, great book. Okay. Pastorally, I'm dealing with churchless and you lost me. And I'm using these books to help our local church Bethel as we look to reignite evangelism. So these are 2 wonderful books that I would recommend, and I'm going to be using them Bible study and teaching at Bethel for the months of November and December. So if you can catch our Bible studies Tuesday at 7 p.m., come on and do that. But that's what I'm reading. That is what I'm reading right now. So thanks for asking. And I was glad I was able to share that with you guys. All right. Again, thank you for your support of Theology on Thursday. I am asking you on those various platforms to subscribe, to like, to follow, and continue to, what I do at the beginning of the show, share the good news, share the gospel, tell somebody about this podcast so that they too can not only have a happy Thursday, but have a happy life. It's Theology on Thursday. And so today we got into a little bit more about my own theology. But I want to thank you for joining us on this special episode. And I hope there is something that happened in today's conversation, that something sparked within you and that you want to share it with somebody else so that you and they can both join me next week for another episode of Theology on Thursday, because this is where deep faith meets real talk. Conversations that connect theology to the world we live in. I'm Dr. Micah C. Sims. And until next time, keep the faith and keep it real.